Hi, it's Chris. Um, in your business, when someone says, "What do you do?" How do you answer that? Now, this isn't a little video about what kind of elevator pitch you should have. It's really a deeper question about how to think about and how do you answer and how do you think of yourself in terms of what do you do. See, when so many people are asked that question, they answer in a way that is kind of socially acceptable. And there's nothing wrong with that, obviously, and I don't mean everyone should be really, really different, but it highlights the reality, the fact that actually, as human beings, we are really hardwired to fit in. The reason that our species, Homo sapiens, has been so massively successful around the globe is because we are amazingly proficient at working together and collaborating. Hey, we can even, work with and work on the back of somebody who we've never met. We've worked with people across oceans now, across on other sides of the world. We're amazing at collaborating and working together as a species. And one of the hardwired drivers to make that happen is this sense of connection, this desire drive, hard drive to fit in. Now, there's a little bit of brain work here, a bit of neuroscience, because of course it goes back through evolutionary terms, that through our own evolution, we've come through the early mammalian phases, right? And we still, of course, have got some of that mammalian ancestry in our brains. Now, if you think about the worst thing that could happen in terms of health and safety and security for a mammal, an animal mammal, is to be ostracized from the pack, to be isolated, because when you're on your own, for many, many species, that's the most vulnerable, the most dangerous, physically dangerous situation to be in. So, of course, many, many mammals they're hardwired to fit in and collect and collaborate. And the same is true for us as a species. Now, we of course have gone on to develop the neocortex, the younger part of the brain, which allows us the extraordinary capabilities that we have in terms of language and concepts and stories and myths. And this is how we've spread and stayed connected as a population. So we're able to think beyond simple chemical hardwiring, if you like, but we still have that drive to collaborate. And so when somebody says or asks the question, "What do you do?" it can feel really uncomfortable to say something that's really unusual and to stand out. And so what happens very often is that there's this sort of dilution of uniqueness, so that we don't stand out so much, so that it's easier for someone else to say, "Oh, I see, I understand. You are that pigeonhole. You work with those people. And what you really mean is this category, so that I can understand what you're doing." Now, that's fine in a conversation because there's no great deal there. But if that is the identity that you start to adopt, if that's how you see yourself and how you operate, where you don't stand out, where you do dilute the uniqueness of who you are and what you could be doing for people, the weaker your proposition is going to be, the less distinct it's going to be. And when you're less distinct, when your differentiation is smaller, the chances are it's going to be harder for people to choose you. And so that's what we see all the time. You'll see people saying, "I am a blank, and so is everybody else. I am a coach. I am a designer. I'm a consultant. I am a whatever it is." And there's so little differentiation. And it feels so scary for many, many people to stand out and be different, to say, "No, this is what I do. I don't do this. I do this," and be different and distinct. And here's the thing. When you're distinct, when you're different from other people, that's when people really start to understand how you can help them, as opposed to other people, how you can help them. So one of the ways that people try to be different or position themselves and describe themselves as being different is to say they're better, right? So I've got this much experience, which means I'm better than, right? Or I've got this qualification, which means I'm qualified or better than someone else. And most of the time, being better is not a necessary position to take. Of course, if you're better, then, you know, that's instinctive. You say, well, of course, the only way I'm going to get more people is to say I'm better. It's not the case. It's actually really possible. Not only possible, it's massively effective to just highlight where you're different. Not better, but different. So what makes somebody different? Well, imagine you've got a couple of tools, right? Let's say you've got an electric drill, right? And a hand crank drill, right? They're both drills. Is one better than another? And again, instinctively, it's tempting to say, well, of course, the electric drill's better, because, you know, if you're going to do it, if you're going to use any kind of tool, if you're going to choose typically between those two, the vast majority of people will go for the electric drill because it's easier, right? But if the job you want doing is something really fine and precise, then of course that electric drill, that is going to, you're not going to have the control that you need. And so for certain moments, for certain jobs, for certain problems, that manual hand crank drill is going to be much better, not because it's better than the electric drill, but because it's a more appropriate tool for the problem, for the job that's being required here. And that is the secret, if you can call it that. That's the essence of what being different, or how you can position and describe yourself as being different, because you're an appropriate tool for an appropriate job, or for a particular job, for a particular problem to solve. So rather than running with the crowd and saying, actually, because I'm wired up like that, I want to fit in, I want to be like everyone else and then just carve out my bit of the pie, how about saying, I don't play that game. I do this job. If you want that job done, I'm not your man, I'm not your woman. But if you want this job done, I am unique and I'm a totally appropriate tool. I'm not better than them because my job is different from them. When you can carve it out like that, then you've got a really good position. And as long as you're the problem that you're designed for, the task that you are the tool for, if you like, as long as that is a big enough market, you're gold. You're good. But it's we instinctively resist it because we're all mammals, right? And we all come from that hard wiring of saying, well, I've got to fit in, because standing out feels unsafe and uncertain. And actually, when you step back and use the neocortex, use the human brain, the youngest part of the brain, and think and analyze and look at the situation rationally, realize in this context, the evolutionary drives aren't serving us. In this context, it's far, far better. It's even easier to achieve whatever you want when you're designed to be you, to be unique, and to be the most appropriate tool for the problem that you're there to fix. Interesting to think about. I hope you'd agree. So anyway, I'll see you in another video sometime. Bye for now.